Hello everyone, I'm Marty Pospischil.
And I'm Adam Pospischil. Thanks for joining us.
And today we are going to talk about the non-Canadian home buyer ban.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. I like that. The acronym NCHBB.
NCHBB. It's coming January 1st.
2023. Federal program. Let's give you a little bit of information on that. Basically, in a nutshell, the federal government has said, okay, as of January 1st of next year, for 2 years, non-Canadians are not allowed to buy property in Canada. Wow.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, anywhere. There are some exemptions. We're going to talk about those. So that's the home buyer ban for 2 years anywhere in Canada, non-Canadians. Now, let's talk about those exemptions. Who's exempt from this, Adam?
So the interesting part about this is the legislation is sort of in the format of moving through, and it's all kind of being sort of finally drafted. So some of this is a bit preliminary, and we're getting some of this from our trade body and some of this from the sort of the working papers that they've been doing. So some of this may change, but this is sort of our understanding of where it's going to land and end up. But basically with this, this will be enacted in the next 30 days. We don't have all the details yet, but essentially it's going to be restricting the purchase of any property that's going to be primarily residential is what they're looking at with this. So detached houses, condominiums, townhomes, duplexes. So far as we can see, it will not include commercial buildings, larger rental structures, sort of that over 4-unit bigger rental apartment buildings.
Like apartment buildings.
Exactly, that would not be included.
Recreational properties, vacant land are exempt, indigenous people's lands, etc.
Yeah, so it looks like some of that will be outside of that. And of course, some government officials will be exempted from it as well. There's some discussion about people with work permits and students potentially being exempted, but that kind of remains to be seen. So there's a little bit of that that's still up in the air, but it's kind of interesting when you look at the numbers. In BC, according to the 2020 census, about 3.1% of residential properties are held by non-Canadians, and then in Ontario, that's 2.2%. So a pretty broad sweeping legislation for a smaller portion of ownership, but nonetheless, this is the direction that it's going. And our understanding is the deals that are already on paper now that may be completing in the new year are not part of this. So,
right, of course. The deal has to be entered into after January 1st, 2023, and a lot of details still have not been worked out, which is interesting because the holidays start in a couple of weeks and then it's immediately effective, so we'll see.
Yeah, and I mean, this has been coming for quite some time. It was promised in the budget this year federally, and there was really no major run-up that we could see in non-Canadians trying to purchase to get ahead of this. So maybe it just speaks to how small of a part of the market this is at the moment, anyways. But interestingly enough, there's certainly from our experience here in the Vancouver marketplace, didn't really see a lot of that at all this year. So
exactly.
Yeah,
and again, a lot of these wrinkles I think will get worked out as the first few deals start completing.
Totally,
and get put together. Who's exempt, who isn't.
So
there you have it. If you have any other specific questions, feel free to email us. Anything else we should mention, Adam, at this point?
Yeah, no, I mean it's a pretty broad sweeping sort of thing. The fines are up to $10,000, and the Canadian government may put some ability for them to force the sale of property and stuff. So it seems to be something they're taking pretty heavy approach to. So like you said, we'll see how this sort of ends up all coming to fruition and who exactly is included and excluded. But definitely coming in some shape in January. So good to be aware of that.
Yeah, absolutely. January 1st, 2023, 2-year ban on non-Canadian buyers. I hope you enjoyed that. Let us know if you have any specific questions. We'll try and answer them for you. I'm Marty.
I'm Adam. Take care.
Thanks for joining us.